Hello my fellow book addicts, Megan here, and time for another book review. Today, I'm going to be talking about The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is the first book in her newest series, The Folk of the Air. And I'm going to start this off by saying that this review might be a little biased, and that's because Holly Black is one of my favorite authors. She's one of my auto-read authors, and has been since I first read her Modern Fairy Tale series. So, huge fan, and yeah, it might color my opinion a little bit. So it makes me super happy to see Holly's back to writing fairies. Whenever I think of kind of dark-ish fairy stories, I instantly think of Holly. So yeah, like so many other people out there, I love this book. I absolutely love Holly's writing style and how she describes pretty much everything. And not just like people and appearances, but like tastes and smells. I just feel like her writing really drags me into the book. Like, I can vividly picture things because of her descriptions. As a main character, I'm not completely sure how I feel about Jude. Like, there are some parts where I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand you, I totally get where you're coming from, but at the same time, there are some things that she did that kind of were like, okay, what? Like, I didn't hate her character, but at the same time, she's probably not my favorite Holly Black character either. But, you know, first book in the series, might take some time for her to grow on me a little bit, but though I was feeling kind of iffy about her, it didn't take away from my enjoyment of the story. So yeah, Jude's our main character, and she is a human in the world of fairy. Her and her two sisters, Vivian and Taryn, I think her name is pronounced. I was never quite sure about how to say her name. Were brought into fairy when they were young. I think Taryn was like, I want to say like 6 or 7 years old, and her and Taryn are human. They're twins, but Vivi is half-fae. The fairy who brought them into the world of fairy is actually Vivi's father, and they were basically raised as members of the gentry, which is unheard of. And because of this, a lot of the fae children their own age give them a really hard time over this. Because they are mortal, they are tormented, they are bullied, they are threatened and just put down at almost every turn. And they are really targeted by Prince Cardan, who is the youngest prince out of their little area of fairy, and his little posse. And Jude, at this point in their lives, is just sick of it. She wants them to leave them alone, and she is tired of just ignoring and letting the taunts and the threats roll off her. Unlike her sister, Taryn, who just wants to kind of blend in, so she kind of wants to stay on the down low. Jude, not so much. And honestly, I saw both sides of their stances, so really I couldn't fault either of them for either of the ways they wanted to handle things. So, in typical with Holly Black books, there's a few twists and turns that I did not see coming, which I greatly enjoy. I don't like when things are too predictable, and I know there are at least one or two that I really was surprised by, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. Honestly, I think the only downside to this book, in my opinion, is how quickly I read it. Just, I could not put it down. And now knowing that I have to wait until next year for the next book is slowly killing me inside. So yeah, part of me really wishes I waited a little more into the year to pick this up and read it, but because like I said, Holly Black is one of my auto-read authors, I just couldn't help myself. So if anyone watching this is one of those people who has trouble waiting for the next book, or even just gets slightly impatient waiting for the next book, I highly suggest waiting a little longer to read this, just so you don't have to wait as long for the second book. Because, holy crap, I just really wish I had the second one to start reading now because of that ending. Like, no spoilers, it wasn't a cliffhanger per se, but just how it was written just made me really itching to read book number 2. You know, if that makes sense. And just, before I finish off this review, I'm gonna try and keep it a totally non-spoiler review for a change. Is what I'm about to say a spoiler? I don't think it is. Anyway, I really love how we get little cameos from Holly's other fairy books. It made me so happy. I knew this took place in the same kind of universe as The Darkest Part of the Forest, so I wasn't too surprised to see characters from that book, even just in passing, but I was really surprised to see Robin, or Roybin, I still don't know how to say his name, and Kay from the Modern Fairy Tale series. The second Roybin was, like, described, I'm just like, I know who that is. I know who that is. And then when the name was confirmed, I was just like, yes. That made me a little more happy than it probably should have, but it just made me happy to kind of see some of these old characters that I really liked. And I kind of hope we see more of them in the future 2 books. Nothing big, just maybe in passing. So yeah, overall, really like this book. Holly's writing was fantastic as always. Her descriptions, how she can really immerse the reader in the story. Like, the characters were interesting, a little iffy on Jude, not too big a fan on Taryn. Cardan, he kind of grew on me a bit. Didn't really talk much about Cardan, but he kind of grew on me a little bit as the story went on. As we got further in the book, I kind of felt sorry for the poor kid, but at the same time, you know, for lack of better words, I thought he was a dick. But despite the pity I might have felt for him, as we learn more about him, still doesn't erase my feelings of him being a dick, which I like. Because I like learning a little bit about the antagonists and being able to be like, okay, I understand where you're coming from, I can understand why you might be how you are, kind of feel a little sorry for you, but you're still a jerk. And yeah, just overall, really liked it, and very, very, very much look forward to the next one.